J Drone here. What's going on, guys? Zino. I'm going to show you how to upgrade it. I'm going to show you how to do it with less filler. There's a lot of videos showing how to do this with lots of filler. I don't like filler. You want to go to the Hubsan site. Bam, it's right there. You want to click on support. Once we go ahead and click on support, we will be redirected to this page. Bunch of models. You want to then scroll all the way down to the bottom. Once you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see Zino latest firmware. Go ahead and click on that, and then you will get a zip file. The zip file will look identical to, not that, that. You will get firmware 0331. Go ahead and unzip that. I created a new folder and dropped everything in new folder. The change log I did not unzip. You want to go ahead and unzip the rest of that. That's for your flight controller, that's for your gimbal, that's for your camera, and that's the controller upgrade tool, and that's the controller upgrade. And then we have different folders here for it. Flight controller, upgrade tool for the controller, upgrade for the controller, the gimbal, and the Zino camera right there. So the first thing that we are going to upgrade is the flight controller. It's the easiest thing to upgrade. We need to plug in the Zino to the computer. With the magic of YouTube, I've saved you on filler. To the left of the SD card is where you plug it in, and that will go in your USB. Don't plug it in yet. Let's go ahead and mine's not plugged in. My USB is not plugged into the computer. You go into Gimbal firmware and open up Zino upgrade tool. As you can see lower left, it shows not connected. Now I'm going to go over here where my hand is and just simply plug it in. We should hear a chime. Doot 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 doot. Hear a chime. It's connected. It's connected. It says connected. You want to make sure it's connected. Make sure your battery's not plugged in while you're doing this. We are going to open file and find, let's see, we need to go to my desktop here. Come on, where is it? Desktop. And everything's in Hubsan firmware. We're gonna open. We're gonna go to our new folder. We are not doing the gimbal right now. We are doing the flight controller. So we're gonna click on that. We're gonna double click that. And we are going to click upgrade. As you can see, percentage is running, it's running. We are halfway there. This is real time too, so this is what you can expect as far as the upgrade to go. And we are done. So you can simply close this out, unplug your Zino, and that is done. Alright guys, if you are very perceptive to noticing things that change, we have our battery in. You need to have your battery in to upgrade it. We're also going to plug this into the computer, but not yet. You want to go ahead and turn on your Zino first. And again, I have the cord plugged into the Zino. There's no reason to keep unplugging this from the Zino. Just unplug your USB. Unplug your USB when you're done, plug it back in, and that'll work properly. So once that's plugged in, then we will go over here, and again, in the folder, the Gimbal firmware folder is where your upgrade tool is. Go ahead and open your upgrade tool, and as you can see, it shows not connected. We want to then, right here where my hand is, plug this in, and then shows connected. I don't know why guys are just unplugging and replugging from the Zino. It makes absolutely no sense. Just unplug it from your computer, the USB. Open file. And we need to go into here. We are in Hubsan firmware, new folder. We need to go to Gimbal firmware. Bamzo, Gimbal firmware. And then we will hit upgrade. It is upgrading, it is upgrading. And just to show you status indicator, we have a red light while it's doing that. I don't know if that's going to change. And this is, again, is real time. I've not sped this up, so this is the time that you can expect to do this. Your USB cord that you're using for your Zino, make sure it is a good one and not a hammered one that you've used with an Android device that will disconnect and reconnect, because I'm sure if this disconnects halfway or 3/4 through, you might mess up your Zino. So make sure you got a good cord. I have a cord that I specifically use for Betaflight and updating stuff, and I don't use it for charging stuff. So 100% done. We have no indicator change, so just be aware of that. So then again, we are going to go ahead and just close this out and disconnect the Zino, and I'll do that on camera this time. Close it out. I'm again pulling my USB, disconnecting my Zino, and that firmware should be good. Next we will do and that was the gimbal upgrade. Also, make sure your gimbal cover is not on it. We're going to do the camera upgrade, which will, you'll need an SD card. Magic YouTube SD card is in the reader. It's in the computer. We then need to go into our SD card. It should say this folder is empty. You want it empty. You don't want anything on it. If it's not empty, go to this PC. Go to where your SD card is located. And we can then right click, we can click format, and as long as it's in FAT32, that's what you want, then we're good to go. And this is a 16 gig, but it's only showing 14.5. Hubsan says you need to use a much bigger card. I don't think that's the case. So what we're going to do is just double click this. Then we're going to jump back over to our Hubsan firmware folder. We are going to go into Zino IT. We're going to double click this again. We're going to go to one more window. Why they put so many windows is beyond me. We're going to take this and we are going to drag and drop. And as you can see, it's 79, 91. Okay, so that's the only thing that's in the SD card. We are then going to eject this SD card by doing this. We're going to right click instead of just pulling it out, and we will click eject. That way it's safe to actually pull that out. And we're going to insert that into the Zino. Alright guys, SD card's in there. You want to do that with your chips up. We're going to go ahead and turn this on. See the blinky? It's blinking. That means it's updating. Once that blinky stops and goes solid or just completely disappears, that means you're done. Now please note that this the Zino will not erase the files once it's completely updated. So you then need to eject by simply pressing it, spring loaded. The SD card, put it back in your computer, remove the files. If you're going to use that for, bam, it's done. If you're going to use that SD card for video on the Zino. Hopefully this improves the video quality. The video quality that I had was not great. We are going to do the controller. A lot of people aren't showing you guys how to upgrade the controller. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it. So basically all that we're going to do now is just shut this down. The light's off. It's completely upgraded. We are good to go. So we're going to shut it down. And again, spring loaded. Just press on it, and then we can pull it out. And the chips that I was speaking of are those little gold chips there. That's face up. Okay, we are back to our file here, and we need to go into HT016B update tools. We need to install our driver, which I have not done, so we'll do this on camera. What's it say? Yes, we can do that. That's fine. That's what we're doing. And we will click next, install. Without this driver, I don't think it'll work properly. Welcome to the license. Do we got to do this again? I don't know what we're doing here. Next, what's it say? Would you like to install this device? Process. Yeah, install it, man. Then finish. I don't know why I had dual windows up there, but so you definitely needed to do that. Then we can go back here and we can go to upgrade tools, to the updater. This is the program that you'll need. It is a different program. Now give me 2 seconds to grab the controller and I will show you what you need to do. Okay guys, those pins are underneath where your cell phone would normally be. The sliding thing that slips out, you need to jump all the way to the left and all the way to the left. 2 pins to the left. Easiest way I found to do that is with a cord like this. And I actually had to take vice grips and smash down the ends of them because the pins are very small. And then what we have is something like that. I don't know that if you can see that. The 2 pins are jumped. The older way of doing it is literally taking needle nose pliers and pinching the pins together, but this is a little bit safer to jump the pins. So give me a second, we'll get to the next step. Okay, so with micro plugged into your Zino, we are then going to plug this in. And then it wants to charge. It thinks it's charging. Make sure you're jumped too. Make sure your pins are jumped. And then before we turn that on, we want to make sure we still have our update tool. And as you can see, it shows disconnected. Then we are going to go over here. We are going to long hold. Hear a notification that the computer recognized it. Without that driver, your computer may have not recognized it. We're going to click reconnect. And now device connected. I don't know what the disconnect, reconnect sounds were. Your 970 image is what you want. If it doesn't say there, you're going to have to go find it. And the way you find it is in, let's see, we'll go back. We'll go back. We'll go to the Hubsan firmware that we were in. We'll go in new folder, go HT06, and there's your 970 image. And then we're just going to click burn. Burn. Yeah, I want to burn it. Let's burn. As you can see down below, it is starting to burn. Do not disconnect at any point during any of these upgrades. I don't know what'll happen, but I could only foresee it possibly bricking something. Fortunately, the firmware is out there that you should be able to reflash it if you accidentally disconnect. But in all intents and purposes, man, don't disconnect. That's why I said use a fresh cord. You should really have a cord designated to upgrading your drones, to connecting to Betaflight, etc. I can't reiterate that enough. I know I have chintzy cords. I have cords for old Android devices that I've beat up horribly, where you got to bend this way until it finally charge, or wrap it around the phone and then it'll charge. You don't want to use one of those cords. We are over halfway done, and this will be the final step to fully upgrading your Zino. A lot of guys are showing the gimbal, they're showing the flight controller, they're showing the camera, and they're not showing this because they're probably afraid of those pins. Don't be afraid of the pins. You could pinch them together, which I don't suggest doing, or you could jump them quite simply using a wire like I did, or making your own wire, which would be simple. If I didn't have that wire, I was probably going to use a lossy connection. Burn successful. Burn, baby, burn. We are done, guys. If you have not subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Questions, comments down below. No filler on how to do it. Later.